Howdy, my name is Tiffanie Vargas, and this is my Psychology 107 advertising assignment over persuasion. In the book, the definition of persuasion is a person's attitudes or beliefs are influenced by a communication from another person. There are two forms. Systematic persuasion is the process by which attitudes or beliefs are changed by appeals to reason, and heuristic persuasion is the process by which attitudes or beliefs are changed by appeals to habit or emotion. The article I chose relates to social psychology, but focuses on an experiment that demonstrates how students' beliefs and attitudes on a particular presentation are persuaded by logic and reasoning, or habit and emotion, depending on how interested they were on the topic. In this article, heuristic and systematic persuasion are tested. The title of the article is Personal Involvement as a Determinant of Argument-Based Persuasion. The authors and references are listed. The introduction is as stated before. There are two different ways to persuade people. One way is to elaborate on logic and provide strong facts to support ideas, whereas the other way includes peripheral cues that focuses more on how people use heuristics to help them believe a certain communication. The authors of this article wanted to test which form of persuasion was more effective. The hypothesis is, under conditions of high personal involvement, persuasion would be affected more by the quality of the message argument employed, but that under low involvement conditions, persuasion would be tied more strongly to the expertise of the source. Or in other words, if a student is more motivated on the situation given, persuasion will depend on how strong the argument from the speaker is, whereas a student who is less motivated on the situation will be persuaded depending on the credibility of the speaker. The author of this experiment asked 145 undergraduate students to participate in the study. Groups of 3 to 16 were tested at a time, and each person was assigned to a cubicle. The students were told that the university they attended was about to have policy changes. Each student read background information regarding the changes and of the tape recordings. When finished, they each heard the tape recordings over headphones. All the tapes were made by the same male speaker, explaining why a comprehensive exam should be administered to seniors in their major as a prerequisite to graduation. After listening to the tape recordings, students filled out a dependent variable booklet and were released. In the background information each student read prior to listening to the tape recordings, half and half were told different variables regarding the following. Motivation. Half of the students were told the exams would be enforced right away, and the other half were told exams would be enforced in 10 years. This was a form of systematic persuasion because they were more willing to listen to the facts rather than who said the speech. Credibility. Half of the students were told the male speaker was a high school student, and the other half were told the speaker was a college professor. This is a form of heuristic persuasion because they would be less willing to listen to the facts given and more focused on who presented the speech. The experiment resulted in credibility having a greater effect for those who were less motivated by the situation than those who were more motivated. In addition, how strong the argument was presented in the speech had a greater effect on those who were more motivated by the situation than those who were less motivated. To the right shows the data collected in the experiment. In conclusion, the hypothesis tested was correct. The results supported how systematic persuasion focuses more on the argument and facts, whereas heuristic persuasion focuses more on credibility. The experiment is concluded to be successful, though minor bias could have occurred. This experiment simply highlighted only one situation on how a person could be persuaded, but in an acceptable, efficient way. Now to the advertisement part of the assignment. In the advertisement for Proactive Plus, Adam Levine, a well-known singer, is trying to convince people to purchase the product. He says, "Even though I'm a celebrity, I get acne too." This is trying to show infamous people have similar traits to famous people, in case you didn't already know that. The advertisement is using the form of heuristic persuasion due to the fact that people will be more willing to buy the product because of the credibility. People will have the mindset that since a celebrity uses the product, why not me? Because a celebrity is the main focus of this advertisement, many people will ignore the facts about the product. For example, how accurate are the results, and how expensive is this product? They will assume that since it works for Adam Levine, it will work for me. Now, how could the ad be changed? I couldn't really find a way to crop Adam Levine out of the ad completely, so instead I got a different ad that had the same concept. It just has a different person that's not famous. In this ad, there is no celebrity, but rather a normal person. Because of this, there's not an excuse to buy the product just because it was said to work on someone more wealthy than me. People wouldn't be as obligated to buy the product, therefore, people may still be interested in the product, but due to her strict persuasion, the product wouldn't sell as much because of the absence of the celebrity. There's no one higher than them saying that it will work, just someone similar to them saying it will work. And that is my project. Thank you so much for listening.